Welcome back to Market Day Report. Tommy Grisafi sitting in for Mr. Tony St. James. Well, barbecue's kind of been the theme all day today. We've been talking with different analysts about what they're having on the 4th, or maybe even how they're going to cook it in the grill. Is there anything cooking in the corn market? Let's check it out here. Corn market heading up. September corn 409 1/4, up 3.5. Looking at December, that would probably be the most actively traded. 424 3/4, approaching 425. Up 2.5 or 2 3/4. I got to be honest with you, as someone who works with farmers, someone who helps manage risk, someone who trades these markets, you're not going to see a lot of enthusiasm from the farmer to sell corn until we approach that 450 level. Would probably catch people's attention. But going home with this long holiday, markets will be open today. Markets will trade tomorrow on Thursday and then close. No Thursday night market. We will be celebrating America's birthday on Friday. Close Saturday, we'll open back up Sunday. We possibly could have some fireworks. Now, Jeffy's been doing the weather all day, and it's summer. It gets hot. That's what we do. But will we have extreme heat, and will we have heat with moisture, or will that moisture get pulled out? We're coming right into pollination. All eyes on December corn, 425, up 3. March, 440.5, up 2.5. May corn, up 2 1/4. Let's look at soybeans. It's been fun to quote the markets today because we're having an up day and the fun continues. August soybeans, 1041 1/4, up 11.5. Sep soybeans, 1028.5, up 10. November, 1036 1/4, up 9 cents. Seeing some strength over there. Heading to Chicago to the Board of Trade, a nice looking board. Sep board wheat, 555 1/4, up 6 1/4. December Board of Trade wheat, 575 1/4, up 6. March, 592.5, up 5 3/4. Let's look at Kansas City wheat. Sep KC, 536.5, up 5 1/4. December KC, 560.5, up 5 3/4. Looking at all the way out to the May, approaching that $6 level, 593 1/4 carry in the wheat market. Spring wheat, Minneapolis. I just noticed one of my clients was getting filled on an order up here, selling some spring wheat they owned. 637 1/4 in the September spring wheat, up 8 cents. December spring wheat, 655, up 8 1/4. Looking at cotton, cotton having a good day. Cotton up 50, going all the way down to the Dees cotton, 68.54. Well, I have a little extra time here, and I'm going to look at the outside markets. I wanted to look at Bitcoin. I know Bubba and I earlier were talking about Bitcoin, and some people say it's where they store cash. Is it real? Well, it seems to be real. They say all the youngsters were all over this one. I got to tell you, I missed this one, but it's not too late. Not that I can tell you to go out and buy Bitcoin, but get educated on what all these new contracts are. You have to understand 175 years ago, they didn't have a corn futures either, but they do now. July Bitcoin, 109,000, up 3,355. That's interesting. If Bitcoin's up, I would have to venture that maybe gold's up. Another place people like to store money. In the Bitcoin's in the digital world, gold's in the physical world. Gold trading 3,352, which brings me to, do we have strong commodities? What's the dollar doing? And the dollar's not moving too much, except $96.57.5. Interesting board there on the outsides. Okay, with that, let's take a commercial break. We're going to come back, talk meats. I think you'll be happy with the meat board. We're going to be back with Market Day Report right after this. Welcome back to Market Day Report. We got some excitement here in the meats, and we're going to stick with the grilling theme. We're actually having barbecue for lunch here at RFD, so I understand we have a couple good chefs and a couple good cooks up there, and then some of the sides we're going to import from one of the local places. Speaking of importing, we're able to import beef now from Mexico. Let's look at the live cattle market. August, 210.45, down 30. October live cattle, 207.70, down 10. Looking at December live cattle, 208.20, down 15. A quiet board. We had gapped open lower after yesterday's sell pressure on that news of the ability to import cattle slowly from Mexico, and we're keeping an eye on that screw worm. Interesting segment. I don't know if you caught it, but before we were meeting with the gentleman from Texas, Mr. David Anderson from Texas A&M, and he was educating us about lamb, and that's interesting because oftentimes on this show, we talk about cattle, we talk about hogs. We gotta give a shout out to anyone producing protein, and he was definitely an expert. Let's see if feeders can be the leaders here. Moving on, August feeders, yes, they are 306.30, up 27. Looking at SEP feeders, 306.02, up 37. ACK feeders with a quick price change there, 303.47, up just a little bit. NOVE down a little bit, 337, down 45, and GN feeders 294.40, down 62. We expect thin holiday trade after today. Could see some activity here on today's close, but I bet you a lot of people are loading up the station wagon, as we used to say as kids, and getting out of town. A big driving weekend here. Lean hogs, July hogs 109.62, up 62. August lean hogs 107.82, up 87, now up 95. ACK hogs 92.85, up 2. December 84, even down just a little bit. I want to go back to the outside markets, because you have to understand the American economy has been through a lot the last few months with trade wars, trying to get this big bill passed and everything else. When I'm out at restaurants, or people know I'm involved in markets, family, friends, they always ask me, how bad's my 401k doing? That's when I realized they don't understand markets. That what they're doing is tracking politics, because the stock market is just 1% from all-time highs. The Dow Jones, 44,800, up just a smidge there. Let's look at the S&P 500 and see how that's doing. SEP S&P 62.64, up 16, a nice-looking board there. NASDAQ futures has been under pressure the last few days. See how NASDAQ's doing today. NASDAQ with a nice bounce after yesterday's sell-off. SEP NASDAQ 22,821. Interesting nonetheless. So many things to talk about. And you got to look at these currencies, and you got to look at crude oil. If you're going to sit here on the show and talk about corn, you got to talk about crude oil. I like this board, August crude, 66.41. Why do I like when crude oil goes up? Because our farmers grow corn, and 1/3 of that crop is used for ethanol. And I look at food as a fuel. Look at what's happened recently in biofuels and everything else. And you'll see that we're all in this together. As in agriculture, we're growing food, fiber, and fuel. Real quick, if you are loading up the station wagon, what's a gallon of gas going to cost you? Well, here at the Exchange, gas RBOB, that's a gasoline ethanol blend, August 210, and SEP 207, which makes me want to hand it over to Suzanne, because we're going to talk to our little firecracker. She's dressed up in red, white, and the jeans are blue.
They're blue, yeah. I'm red, white, and blue. We're going to be talking to two brothers a little bit later today, 11:30 Central, 12:30 Eastern, talking about a song called True Colors, just in time for the 4th of July. So I wanted to get in the theme of things. I'm ready for the weekend.
Yeah,
Happy 4th.
Linda Carter's got nothing on you. Hey, I think Linda Carter's daughter actually lives here in Nashville.
Does she really?
Yeah,
all right.
She might even be involved in music business.
All right, that's
We'll have to check
interesting.
on
All right,
that.
we'll have to check on that.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Tommy.